What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today I want to talk about the Forsaken Souls trading card game. This game is a new game. It had a Kickstarter, didn't quite fund, but the creator of the game has been working on it for some time. He had kind of an earlier version of it at one point as well. Made some updates to it visually to try to bring a little bit more life to it, but now released this version through Game Crafter. It's a 30-card starter deck, and it's basically everything you need to get started playing the game. I picked up 3 copies of the deck to get myself a full playset. In like Yu-Gi-Oh fashion, if you get 3 of the deck, you get a full 3 copies of every card included in the deck, and that gives you your full playset of the playable cards. As a player, I have to have my playsets. So, as I said, at one point he started this with the Forsaken Souls trading card game. This was his original cards. This is the Dragon Slayer Djinn. It had some flavor text. It had a type, an effect, attack power, health, and defense power. His main gimmick with this game was that cards were uncolored, and you could then color your cards with colored pencil or whatever you wanted to do to really customize your game experience. The back has your typical like gloss finish that a trading card would have, but the front has like a paper finish so you can color on it. Obviously this is marketed a little bit towards a younger audience that could enjoy coloring their product, but it's also, there's plenty of adult coloring books and things like that exist too. And I thought that was a really unique concept. So many games are focused on getting the art like perfect and done ahead of time. He's got his art, it's sort of hand-drawn kind of style, and you get to color it in, make every player's deck look different. Maybe you see your Dragon Slayer Djinn with red hair, maybe I see him with black hair. Maybe his sword is bright green for you, and maybe it's just a regular metal sword for me. Maybe he's got a purple cape on your card and a blue one on mine. Who knows? But that was kind of a really interesting concept to me. So with this version of the game, he did bring a little bit of color into the cards to try to make them pop a little bit more. So we're kind of into this. This is his Dark Deception starter deck. First edition, it says, "A great evil has awakened. The time has come to take over this forsaken... Oh, the time to take over this forsaken land has come. Darkness will once again rise. Command the armies of darkness, led by the dark dragon of old, and claim your victory on the battlefield." Anyone who's picked up a game of any kind from Game Crafter before will recognize and be familiar with this paper quality and things like that. It's your standard Game Crafter trading card quality, but we'll get into it here. I'll just dig into the box. Sorry, seam, I broke you a little bit. That's okay. Here's just a box. Okay. So he put a little bit more color onto the backs of these. Here we've, as a comparison to the original back. We'll just kind of get into the cards themselves. So we've got an Ancient Cyclops as our first card. Now, one thing that you'll notice that's a little different between this version and the originals is he put the attack power, the health, and the defense power on the side of the card as opposed to on the bottom where he had it originally. One of the original kind of complaints was that these are really small and kind of hard to read. Here they're much clearer. It's much more obvious what these stats do. The color in the background does give a little bit more life to the card. You still get that kind of coloring book vibe that he's going for, but it's not quite as straight up grayscale like it was before. One of his core kind of design inspirations, though, is like that kind of black metal, that real black and white Icelandic kind of European look. And I think it captured that well. There's a lot of that going on here. But I think this just pops a little bit more. The cards all have a nicer a finish on them too. Then, an upside down card. We've got the Axe of Demise. This is a card that equips to a creature. So in this game, it's sort of like Yu-Gi-Oh! In that characters have attack positions, defense positions. You have life points and things like that, but it also functions on like a grid system, so your cards can move around the table, and you know, kind of vie for position, etc. And it just sort of adds a little bit more depth than just like typical Yu-Gi-Oh might have. Another spell card here. Call of the Afterlife. Destroy one creature from the Dark Lands on the field. Now, Dark Lands is this purple color, so basically it destroys a purple character. Graceful Sin. Commander Magician. I do think the art is cool. It's simple, obviously. You know, it does have that kind of, like I said, it's literally hand drawn. But there's a certain, there's just a certain vibe to it that I like. Black Magician. Got the Arcane Steed of Mystic Rains. Oh, this is cool. There is a very established Magician deck and also a Knight deck that you can kind of build with these. And this card basically letting them move to anywhere on the table is pretty strong. Geez, I wish these cards were all the same direction. It's weird that they're not. Cloud of Despair. Oh, here's the Dark Dragon of Old, the one from the back of the box, and the one that it mentions. Untaps all cards, puts them all in attack position, so you can deal more damage to them and directly to your opponent's life points. That's really strong. Druidic Healer. I think this is actually a new card that didn't exist in his original version of the cards. I have a playset of his kind of original release as well, and I don't think I recognize this card. This guy I recognize, though, the Death Creeper. The Exiled Swordsman. The color pop in the background, I honestly think is really nice. It really brings a lot more energy to these cards. I like it a lot. Chromatic Dragon. One of my favorite things about Chromatic Dragon here is this little ear or whatever he's got going on. It's funny because if you kind of turn his head this way, it's like an eye that direction. Turn it this way, he's got like an eye this direction. I just think that's cool. Curse Doll. Dragon Slayer Jin, the direct comparison between the two. I just think there's a lot. The fact that it's not on this like paper style side and it's on the gloss really makes the art pop a lot more too. And I think that's a positive for the game as well. Alchemic Healer. Oh, the Baby Dragon of Old. Gotta summon this guy, but then you can sacrifice him to summon the big one from your hand. That's pretty cool. Varg the Mystic Knight. Gallant the Chivalrous. The Wise Feline. I like this guy. He's cute. Gladiator Minotaur. I remember this guy from the first set. He was really good then. I'm sure he's still really good now. Forbidden Lock. Great card. Summon Golem. Mystic Orc. He looks really cool. The art on him is nice. The energy here looks really organic. That's cool. Soul Retention. Mask of Demise. Elemental Hydra. That's a cool looking one too. The Sword's Apparition. This is a cool card. And then, oh, we end it with Woodland Elf. This card is fantastic. Can fight anyone from anywhere. Basically, using its bow to attack from range. That's pretty great. I liked this guy a lot originally. I think this effect is a little different. I think he just did damage from anywhere before. Now he fights, so that's a little more fair. But still an awesome card. that, though, is it for the deck. It is just a 30-card deck. It is a very small first release here. There are only 30 cards, but picking up 3 decks does give you 90 cards, which is enough to build with a playset any deck that you'd like. I believe it's a 40-card deck. There is definitely an elf, or there's definitely a knight deck. There's definitely a magician deck, and there's definitely a dragon deck that can be made. I've seen and played them. So there's, even with just this small amount, there's enough that you can kind of keep yourself engaged for a little while. I think the decks were like $14.99 or something like that, which is, you know, like a lot by standard retail release game, but as far as like a game crafter game, it's not too bad. For something independent and supporting like a small business like that, I don't mind that at all. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. I just wanted to show this game off. I'm sure there's not going to be a ton of coverage for this online. It is a really kind of niche product, but I think it's cool. The creator's a really cool guy, and I just wanted to give it a little love. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next time.